Here we go. What's up, beautiful people? Welcome to a Dot Podcast. This is your girl, Dawn Patrice, with another episode of a dose of Dawn. So, I am just happy to be here. I had a little slight hiatus, but I'm back and I'm ready, and I'm really excited for today's guest. So much so, not even so much so, but I'm very excited for today's guest. We go back like almost 2 decades for real. And I always talk about purposeful connection. So we definitely connected in college, and how we connected. Well, we'll talk about it when she gets on, because I start talking or whatever. But anyway, I hope everybody has been well, and I look forward, like I've always said, to continue to do more doses of Dawn. So I am going to bring my special guest in, and she will introduce herself to you guys, and we're just gonna vibe out and connect. And I'm sure that within this episode, you will find purpose and inspiration as we speak to each other. But I'm sure that it'll be some gems that you'll be able to glean from throughout the conversation. So here we go. Okay, hold on now. Oh, there it is. I was like, hi. She done got fancy to learn how to zoom in and everything.
I'm here. I'm so excited. This is my first live ever in life. So,
Period. Y'all, this is Essence. So, Essence, tell us who you are and a little bit about yourself. And we're going to get it cracking.
all right. And you know what I realized before we even start this live? I realized
Sure.
that when you go live, then I go live, which wasn't something that I realized that it was going to post to my followers. I'm like, oh, so we're all going live now. Okay. Okay.
Period. Yes.
Okay. Okay. So I'm excited to be on your podcast. My
That's
name
funny.
is
She's like, I'm supporting my friend, but I didn't know that everybody is gonna see this. Yes, everybody.
I didn't think about that. If I would have thought about that, that would have made me all types of like, oh no, I don't want my followers to
Anxiety
be.
and everything. Right, right.
But it's okay. This is dope. I'm excited to be joining you today. I think what you're trying to do here and to inspire people and to help people find their purpose is extremely connected to what I think is most important in life. And so
Right.
I'm just happy to be here. So thank you for having me, Dawn.
You're welcome. You're welcome. So for the viewers, so Essence and I went to Bethune-Cookman some years back. And so what's crazy is her roommate and I were friends in high school. I don't remember what happened, but I think y'all got into it or something.
Oh, Ashley.
Yeah, we ain't
Oh,
gonna say no names.
oh, I'm sorry. Oh, I forgot. I forgot we was.
G-Call. We're gonna keep it G-Call.
Okay. Edit that out. My old roommate from college, totally forgot. I forgot about her. I thought you were my roommate that I still talk to all the time, Lauren. I thought that's who you were talking about. So I was like, wait.
No, like we met for our freshman year.
Oh, right. Yeah, I used to have a temper back then, and I wasn't as evolved and refined as I am now. And so my roommate was a little bit of a wild one in college. You know, we went to school, for everyone who don't know, I went to school in Bethune-Cookman. That's where we met, Daytona Beach, Florida. And
Yeah,
Bethune-Cookman was a beautiful HBCU started by Mary McLeod Bethune. Shout out to Black women starting educational institutions. And yeah, so
absolutely.
that roommate it was a lot to be her roommate. And so I had to draw some lines that, I probably wouldn't handle in the same way, but it was effective. And,
Very,
you know,
very. And no,
so,
I bring that point up of how we connected because, like in my mission and my slogan, I always speak about purposeful connection. So it was a purpose for you guys to be roommates, for us to almost 20 years later to still be connected. Like I don't even remember. I don't know if I came to the room. I feel like maybe I came to the room and I feel like I probably calmed you down or something. I don't know, but I just remember from there, I was like, she's super cool. I like her, you know? So, you know, we would hang out and we just literally stayed connected,
Yeah.
period. So I'm just really, really honored that, you know, we were able to meet such long, you know, long time ago and still here with each other, you know?
Absolutely. It has been a journey. It has been
Yeah,
such a journey. I
yes.
can't believe, I mean, it's been a long time since I don't think it's 20 years, though. I mean,
I mean,
we
I'm around it. I'm around it. I said almost. Okay, okay. Okay, 17 years.
yeah,
Yeah, I
wow.
can do 17 years.
So are you counting from like when we were freshmen or like when we graduated?
No,
When we
I met
graduated?
you in 2004.
Oh yeah, first year, 2004, first year. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, I
seriously.
remember that was when I used to wear all gray and I mean, wow. Like, look, I got on a little pink today, you know?
I mean, it's the evolvement for me. So,
Yeah.
y'all, Essence definitely, it was a lot of gray. It was a lot of black. Okay, this is what I remember. Black, gray. I remember very, you know, Jersey, very tell it like it is, no filter, but you were gent to me. I could appreciate that because I'm very honest and very straightforward. So it's always refreshing to meet, you know, a kindred spirit in that regard. And I also remember you were a great writer, not were, but are a great writer. And so really who you are now, it's like you were that then. You just evolved and became more refined, but like you the same old E, but with more poise, character, and you know, all that jazz.
Thank you so much. I
You
really
know,
appreciate that. I
you
do. I mean, you are too. One of the distinct memories that I have is that I think we were supposed to go out one night and I was in my feelings, like I'm not going anywhere. And you came in the room, you were like, no, we're going out, honey. And you got what literally was in my closet, like you could wear this, you could wear this, you know, let's go. Let's not be in this
that.
room instead, you know. And I think I see that evolving into, you know, what it is, your podcast, and also how you've helped the community, you know, all of those things. So I guess what it is that in college we are foundationally who we're going to be already, you know,
Period.
just it just gets better, a little sweetening.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
Absolutely. And I think that's a great, you know, point that you brought out because a lot of times people are like, well, even if you go to college or not, but we are who we are.
Right.
By 18, you're really who you are. So whatever it is that you're interested in doing, go full throttle in it. Like gas on the pedal. You feel me? Because if you do it then, the sale is not going to be, you know, easy. You're going to have your ups and downs, but it's going to be worth it because you're so tunnel vision. Like, this is what I'm here to do. I know that I'm great at this. I know that I'm great at that. So fulfill it as much as you can. And I can say for me, I didn't, like, I was speaking, man, I don't know if I ever told you, but I was a tutor when we were at Cookman. So I would go to some middle school a couple of towns away. And I just thought I was a math tutor. And so I would notice how the students were very disrespectful towards the teacher. So, you know, my little outgoing self, I'm like, y'all just gonna disrespect this man? And I'm not gonna say that. Oh, no, I'm gonna say something. So I asked him, I said, can I speak to your class? You know,
Can I take over for a little bit?
again, I've been this way, right? So he allowed me to speak to them, but that was my first public speaking, you know, opportunity. So it's like I've been this person. So I had to evolve, but if I would have really stayed tunnel vision, I'm sure that it would be at a different level, but everything happens the way that it's supposed to, just, you know, hindsight. But yeah, I'm all for just knowing who you are, discovering when you discover who you are, focus on that. And I'm sure you can definitely resonate with that because I mean, hello, hello, hello. So this is Essence not co book, but she was a co-author in this book. So, lifting as we climb, mapping a history of Black women on the South Side of Chicago. And my girl been writing since been writing.
Yeah, it's been a while. It's been a while.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Journalism, or you the news, the magazine, newspaper, something.
Yeah, I was editor-in-chief of the newspaper in college. It was a different time. I was real, when you're younger, you're real fearless. So I definitely had it was a lot of work. A lot of my life back then also was very reflective of, I'm still in front of the computer all the time. I'm still managing communications. Yeah, it has been, it's a trajectory that I can see I would say the vestiges of along these past, 15, however many years, 17 years. It's been a journey. Yeah. And I think it's, when you think like, oh, I'm going to know who I am and I'm going to
Right.
follow that path, it also is like, right now, I'm still like evolving and figuring it out and also finding the courage every day to show up in particular ways, to be able to navigate what I feel is like important, that I want to put my energy into, because it's a lot of things that like are distractions. The work, sometimes what you do for your 9 to 5.
What's your 9 to 5, if you don't mind sharing? Because I know it's community based, right?
Yeah, I'm the communications director for the Social Justice Initiative.
That's you. Like, I'm not surprised. Yes, go ahead. I love this. Like, you and your purpose, for real.
I feel good. I feel good. It definitely has been a career journey because, I originally started in journalism, and after grad school, I was just like, I can't do the news. I can't do the news every single day. It's depressing. It's sucking the life out of me. It's too much. And so I had to go communications large, like expand out as to what a communications specialist could look like. And so, yeah, at the Social Justice Initiative, I manage all of our communications, and I also recently renovated the Chicago Justice Gallery and opened that up. And
Congratulations.
thank you. That's one of the areas I'm still expanding into, navigating, trying to like adjust to. It's a different world. The arts world is a different world, but it's exciting. I love new things. I love trying to learn and develop my skills. So it's been a wild journey, Dawn. Looking at you, it just makes me think of who I was all the way back then, and how the connections are very much so present, So
Very
yeah.
reflective. Very reflective. What keeps you what keeps you going?
That's a good question. That's a good question. Today was a little challenging. This year, past 2 years, going on 3, have been extremely challenging. I would say, I am committed to my personal evolution. In the past couple years, prior to the pandemic, I was doing a lot of work to build a career, to establish myself, to write. The book happened, I think 2018 is when we published. So I was doing a lot of external pushing, external work. And I think in the past 2 years, when things are not happening outside, or there's a lot of like grief and sorrow and loss happening, I turn my attention into like my internal cultivation, right? Like I have a therapist. I recommend everybody get a therapist because
I need
I
one,
probably
girl.
would still be that young, 18, 19-year-old cursing people out if I wasn't evolving.
Baby. Right.
But I really focus on taking care of myself, resting, loving on myself, addressing some of the things that I feel like I definitely should change and have to change. A lot of self-care. Self-care right now looks like I work from home. I've been working from home for a while. So it helps me to not be constantly pushing, getting up, go to work, go to the office, do this. Now I'm like, I take my time in the day, right? Like, and I make sure if I feel away, then I slow down. If I feel tired, I take a nap, and I have no remorse whatsoever,
Do you feel like the pandemic, kind of changed your viewpoint on just the inner focusing on you?
Girl, absolutely. Absolutely. I think had you talked to me in 2019, And then
Mm.
if there was no pandemic, I still think I used to work too much. I was doing too much. I was taking on everything. I was exhausted, breaking down because I was just trying to be, in my mind, it was like this successful Black woman, like when I'm trying to aim to be a successful Black woman, that meant I had to grind, I had to be up late, I had to take on everything that anybody said, take on, because my name was like, oh, my work was
Right.
my name was
Yeah.
my purpose. And it was just like, do, to be, right? And then the pandemic happened, and it was like, actually, I need to just be, and I am already
Come
way more than that,
on.
you know?
Just be, yes, absolutely. Oh,
Yeah.
we gotta tap into that. So an old friend of mine, her father, he would, if he saw you, he would say, "How you be?" Not how are you, but how you be. How are you being? How are
Mm,
you being to yourself?
mm,
Most importantly, like, know thyself. And I truly believe that this pandemic has taught a lot of people, a majority of people, to really just do a lot of inner work. All this outside, it's gonna always be that. But how are you?
were you?
Oh,
Mm,
from the inside out, like we get so caught up in superficial things that are not going to last. But what sustains you is your inner peace. What sustains you is having your mental together. Because we can easily, like we were 18, 19, spaz out at any given moment. So that's why we got crazy folks right here now that has not gotten to the point of just being.
right.
We're already who we are. Just walk in your divine purpose in nature and just be. But
Yeah.
that takes a lot of just belief and knowing, like, I'm enough.
Yeah. It's hard work. Like I think that there's there's this the commodification of self-care, and like, oh, just do some yoga and just go to therapy. Like, it's not that simple. And I recognize, because I want to, in this, I think I could just be so transparent. I used to be so like, people are crazy. This person, da da da, they not trying to do the work, like they just wilding out for no reason. And then I
Right,
realized, the moment you sit down, like, this is why social media is getting everybody, right? Like, it's so much easier to scroll, 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 go to work, do, do, do. And the
right,
moment you shut it all down and sit with yourself, it gets real uncomfortable. What comes up that you have had to experience, what comes up that you have had tried to push away and not think about, like, all of that is ugly. I want to say,
right,
like, that's the most ugly. It's the pandemic was like, woo, okay, what's that? Like, where did that come from? And why am I doing so much? And like, what
right,
do I really deeply want to be doing? And I
right,
think so many people can't sit with themselves. And I'm no longer judging, because I
right. Ooh,
understand why you wouldn't want to. Like, I get how much easier it is to scroll away the day, to work away the day, to just let everything else and everyone else be where your focus is. Because
yeah.
it's a lot. We all have a lot going on. So
Yeah.
it's not easy. It's not
No,
easy.
it's not. I love that too. I'm always talking to somebody. I was talking about that same point. People don't know how to be with themselves. We would rather be distracted. We would rather have our focus on things that's not going to literally build us. And we keep on adding on to the traumas, the triggers, or whatever that we've experienced that has us still going crazy, focusing on everything else. And it's like, when you really take the time to focus on you, there's a level of consciousness and growth that you experience that's, it, like you said, it's hard. It is challenging. It's very challenging, but you find peace within that. You find peace in knowing, okay, this is my trigger. That situation bothers me to a point. Okay, I can't associate with certain things, or I can't do this, I can't do that. So it's a lot of accountability, and I think it's hard for people to really take accountability. Like, that is and it's okay that it's a weakness, but when you really work on it, that's your strength. That's a superpower, accountability. Yep, I did that. I need to get better. It is
Yeah.
what it is.
Yeah.
But people don't want to
Guess
accept.
this person is annoying me. Why are they annoying me? Why are they getting under my skin? Why am I mad? Why am I upset? Or why am I just shutting down? The whys I think is really is what the I think was what is most difficult to get at. It's like, why do I feel this way? And that's
Yeah.
what science brings up. Like, no one there, no outside forces, then why do I feel this way? That's, I think, a challenge in a world that's saying feelings are for Valentine's Day.
Nah, feel every day. I just walked into this room. Something don't feel right. What is that? Okay, I need sleep. I need to, like, for real. I'm to a point in my life because I was a little rah-rah, back in the day, but of refinement. Like, I just want to be the best version of myself. But if I know that certain environments or people, their energy is off, all right, y'all take it easy. I'm in and out because I have to protect my peace. I got to protect how I'm feeling about being in this environment. And it's nothing for me. All right, y'all carry on now, and that's okay. And I think people should really have the confidence to, leave or remove, acknowledge why things are triggering you, because that's essential.
Yeah, yeah.
In my little point of view, you know.
No, it is. It is because it's like the goal. I think the reframing in that internal work that you do, it shifts then what your goal in life is. And I think my goal used to be a lot of like, I want to be a dope Black woman that is in a position of power that people respect, that has a body of work that speaks to, all of my intellect and all of my passion and care. And then after you get that, it was like, because a lot of the accomplishments, like the book, it was shocking to me when I published that book. I was like, oh, like I've always wanted to write. Like this has been my life goal. And then when I got it, it didn't feel, I just thought like the successes were gonna feel like rain, confetti raining on my skin. I thought it was gonna feel like, oh, I'm the shit. Like I thought I was gonna be like, yes. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm in
Yeah.
here. This is it. None of those things felt like that. And I think that you gotta accomplish some of your goals and dreams to be able to be like, wait a minute. And maybe I don't know, for other people it could potentially do that. It didn't do
Right.
it for me. It didn't do it. I was like, like, what? What? I've been working for this for all my life since I could dream, and it didn't feel like I wanted it to feel.
Wow.
And so, like, well, then what are my goals now? If my goals aren't the things that I'm doing in the projects that I'm creating, then what are my goals now? Like,
That's good. That's deep. For real. Like I'm doing this for this, but when I get it, it's like, okay, what else? What I thought it was gonna feel like something else.
Yeah. Yeah. And if I didn't take the minute to be like, whoa, like if it doesn't feel like I wanted it, instead of the other option was like, just keep going and get more and do more and make more. And always have this thing that I was chasing that it feels like you basically never get. And I took this class, and during the pandemic was shifted. I took the class, it's called The Science of Happiness. And it's a Yale class. It was online for free. It's on Coursera. If anybody should check out Coursera, has The Science of Happiness. Because I was like, oh, like maybe if I could just, I'm super intellectual. Like maybe if I could drill it down to a science, I'll be able to be happier,
Yeah.
And the class, really amazing class, which only has you ask yourself like, what are happiness, but it also tells you about the statistics of happiness. And like they've done studies, because it's Yale, they got all this money to do whatever.
Right.
And they've done studies to see like how much money do you need to make in order to be actually that actually changes your well-being, like your joy, and there's a cutoff point. The cutoff point was $70,000. Like after you make $70,000, no amount of money is going to feel different to you. Like you're not going to, like for an individual person, of course this has to do with like you got kids and a whole family to take care of course.
Yeah.
It was certain jobs, positions. They're asking all these people who are in these high power positions, is your happiness increasing or decreasing? And it was like, it had nothing to do with what you have or what you accomplish. It just has nothing to do with that. It has to do with how you savor. It was these activities around savoring moments that are literally, I'm drinking a cup of tea, I'm savoring this moment. I woke up this morning, I'm savoring looking out at the sun. It's the savoring, and it's the most insignificant moments, delving into those moments to make those moments feel like this big successes, you know? So that class helped me too, because I thought like, all right, no, if I make 100,000, then
I'm good. I'm happy. I'm excited every day.
thought the rain, you know, again, I'm gonna be like, all right, y'all, let's go. Like,
Right.
no, nah, you know, nah. And I guess that's why also, you know, most successful people, a lot of the famous people, they still got the regular struggles, because it has nothing to do with that.
Yeah,
So
it's inner. It's all inner. Inner. I want to tap into one of the comments. Jenny said, yes, especially toxic friends and family members. Going back to when we were talking about, you know, protecting your peace. And Jenny, like, when I say family members, when I saw that, that stood out to me, because I'm just being transparent. Well, I'm not going to say who it is, but just to know someone that is so close to me, you know, a relative, blood, I'm to a point where I'm okay with loving you from a distance, because you literally bother my spirit. Now, when folks bother your spirit, like, I'm also at a place in my life where if you treat me the way that you're treating me, I'm just going to match it. I'm not going to be nasty, but I have nothing to give.
Right.
Nothing to give.
Yeah.
You send me a dry message. Hello. Like, I'm not reaching for relationships or trying to savor them. Like, no, we moving on in this season. My peace, your peace is priceless.
Yeah.
Period. You know, if I'm triggered, I can't. And I'm learning, I guess, during the pandemic. I don't know, maybe a little bit after the well, we still in the pandemic, but
right, we're still in there.
let me be clear. But in the last 6 months, I have truly gotten to a point where I'm learning like what my triggers are. Even though I'm not going to a therapist, I have a therapist friend, and she tells me like, okay, you still need to go to a therapist. But I'll be a great client, she said. But I ask myself a lot of questions. The why, it's crazy, because I've always been like that. And now I'm answering them, and I'm like, yeah, I don't like that. I don't like that every time I'm around this person, I'm feeling a certain way. Okay, but you felt this way years prior. Okay, this stuff stems from your childhood. Like, I be over here breaking stuff down. Because, like, who am I? Who I want to be? What I gotta do to keep my peace? Like, that's essential. So yeah, toxic friends and family members, yeah, you gotta let some of that stuff go. Yeah. As I say, sometimes, because they say blood is thicker than water, sometimes you need that water to wash out the blood. Okay.
Yeah, and I think that the difference, because you know, you can let friends go. The difference is what I've recognized. And it's a little, you know, it's difficult. Is this going to be like public forever? But like, your family is like, you have the expectations you have for the people who are your genetic match, right? Like the people who are like a part of your DNA.
Talk about it.
With you for a lifetime. Like, you just have different, like, one, they get under your skin like no other. Like, my mother could say something so simple, and it really just like, I'll be ready to be like, seriously? And also, I understand that from the lens of like, there's so much I want from my family, because they're my family, right? Like, you can want stuff for your friends. You're like, girl, live your life, hun. My guy friends, live your life. But my family, I'm like, no, I want you to live the best life possible. And I think my hardest thing was like, I see them struggling and stuck in ways that then it felt like, well, I'm the daughter, right? Like, I'm the sister. Like, I wanted, like, y'all, I want y'all to I want to be able to like control or support or like do something,
Mm-hmm.
say something that's going to help my family evolve, help my family, or at least not, I mean, not in a superficial way, but like
Right.
address some of the things that have them stuck, that have them on a repeat, you know? And because it's
Right.
my family, that feels more like, so to me, it felt a lot like, okay, I got to stick with them when it's hard. When they pulling me into the trauma and the drama, I have to stick with it because they my family. And then also I have to figure out like how to help because I am genetically obliged out this mug and also emotionally connected to a certain extent to like want to
Right.
help them. And I finally got to a place of like, oh, like this is their journey. Like, oh, unless they decide, like unless they
Come
have the
on.
commitment to be like, I want to change or I want to stop being in the cycle of it's like, I mean, honestly, with your family, it'd be on a loop. They call you like, ah! And then you're like, and it immediately impacts you. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You're like, okay,
Right.
I'm drawn up. You could be. I live states away from my family. One
Right.
phone call, I'm in New Jersey, like in New Jersey, mentally, right, emotionally, and I get sucked up into that until a point where I have to say, like, I have to cut that cord. I have to cut that connection because it's draining me and it's also hurting me because it's something that I can't change and it's my family. You feel obliged, you feel responsible for your family. And
Yeah.
then it was like the pandemic, as you said, you focus on yourself and then you realize I am responsible for my joy, not their progress, not their drama. Like you can't live like that because that's the same thing as living for external accomplishments. It's just
Right.
not possible. And you could in loving them from a distance or loving them in whatever way is most conducive for your sanity. I think that's the only way to go about it because you'll forever be trying to address something that is unfixable because the only person that can help them is them.
It's them. That's it. That's it. We can't help people do their own inner work. And you have to be open. I was talking to somebody today. Openness is key. Like you have to be open to acknowledge your faults, your little thing. You got to be open to it. As much as we love people, our family members, like you said, if if people don't want to get it for themselves, we can't force them. We can't, in those expectations that you spoke about, I had to learn. I had this idea of what I thought a family should be. And baby, it took me to be 35 to finally understand that idea is not real. Everybody should be on the same page and wanting that. But I can't force these people to want the type of family that I created or I expected.
In your mind, right?
Baby, because you see, okay, well, families that come together, have a good time. Like, I'm all about a good time and vibing out, like great vibes, great energy. But if I'm the only one that's bringing it, okay, but y'all know something else. Okay, this is not the environment I need to be in, and that's okay. I'm completely fine with that.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's crazy because we live in a society that the family visuals, like you see movies, you see even people Christmas, families in their pajamas. It's like you just
Right,
seeing that this is what your family is supposed to be. This is what your family's supposed to do. They're supposed to have your back. They're supposed to come and help you. They're supposed to support you.
right.
It's supposed to be all these things. And the disappointment, I think people don't really be talking about that disappointment. And shout out, my cousin actually is in the chat in the room.
What's up, cousin?
Hey cousin, hey Naya. Like and she's one of the cousins that I'm really close to. Like I'm not like I don't do a great job of being any family member whatsoever. It's because of how I was raised. It's because of my mother. We just not super connected. But the family members that I do care about, I try to in whatever format, platform, universe, whatever, say like I do care about you because there's some family I don't know them. I don't talk to them. I don't know what's going on in their life and trying to be like, oh hey, like it's like like I can't, like I can only do what I can do in the family that's there and that's successful, that's responsive. Then I
Yeah,
reach out to them. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
Yeah.
And we could try, just like my cousin, like we trying to have cousin Thanksgiving. We could try. But
Right.
if it doesn't,
The intent is there. Right.
it's there. And if it doesn't, it's okay. I'm past the point of like letting it be hurtful and me thinking like, man, my family, I wanted to be like, the Huxtables. I wanted to be, no cap on, the freaking
Right. No,
disgusting.
I get no. What's understood don't have to be explained. I already know.
You just want so much. And then when people don't meet those expectations, it used to hurt more when I was younger. And then I was like, I need to reshape and just care about who cares about me and
Come
care
on.
about the family who reaching out to me. That's what's most important than trying to have this idealized version of a family that never is going to exist, because if it didn't exist and they are 36, 36. If it don't exist now, then unfortunately it's not no miracles like that happening.
Right.
So
Precisely.
yeah,
Precisely. But the dope thing about family is the family that we actually can choose, which are
yeah,
your friends.
yeah,
And you and I, even though it's been distance, family, it's love,
yeah,
it's great energy, it's positivity. You know what I'm saying? And I think that also, yeah, we do see a lot of, social media to matching this with your family, but there's also so many people that have cultivated their own ecosystem of friends.
yes,
And
yeah,
like for an example, I've been seeing, and I told you even on the back end privately, like I see you glowing. I see you just genuinely happy.
yeah,
The people that you are around, like the love is there, but y'all ain't blood,
yeah.
but that's your family.
That's my family. Yeah,
You
yeah, and
know?
it took a while to get to the point where I was like, and I also had to communicate better with my friends and my family. I used to, like when I shut down in college, that's like how I would shut down and things would happen in my life, and because I felt like I ain't had the family, so like it was like I couldn't tell everybody what you're going through, so I would shut down because like I got to do it myself, I got to handle it myself. And what my friends, especially my sisters and my brothers too, they were like, no, like that's not what you have to do, right?
Yeah.
Like it's in therapy. Again, I'm gonna keep up because my therapist has been like, as you pushing people away. I'm like, oh, right. Even though I get annoyed with her, like, okay, that's true. To accept, like, I have to be able to be vulnerable, and that is not easy, depending on how you was raised, depending on who hurt you, depending on the relationships that you've had with
Yeah.
partnerships. Like that's not easy to do. But as soon as I was like, the people who I keep seeing show up, the friends who are like, nah, sis, I got you, that I had to start to be more vulnerable and say, yo, I'm going through something right now. I'm about to cut my phone off for a while. Like I'm gonna shut down my IG, but letting them know that versus me just like, I'm gonna close out the world and hope they're still there when I get back. And that to let people know what's going on with you. And to me, that's one of the biggest vulnerabilities ever. Like,
Yeah.
it's so hard to be like, Dawn, like I'm going through something, like, and I don't even have the capacity to fully talk about it, but the vulnerability is what cultivated those friendships and turned those friendships into family. To be like, y'all, I need y'all, like I
Bro,
need y'all. My birthday came and I was not trying to celebrate my birthday. I was like, I don't want to.
really?
It just felt like, so much was going on. It's like, it felt excessive. I had went on a trip, so like, that's enough. But I was like, okay, well, what if I just ask some friends to like celebrate with me? And it was vulnerable because I hate asking people to do stuff. I hate it because I don't like when people say no. So I'm like, all right, y'all. I called them like, okay, so you want to come over for cake? And they're like, yeah. I'm like, oh. And then it was like each person was like, yeah, come in, I'm coming. I'm like, oh, they care. And if I would have been closed off and like, no, I'm just not gonna celebrate my birthday, I'm gonna shut down. I was vulnerable enough to say, like, let me just see, And every time I've been like, let me just see, and not every time, because there have been challenges, but they just showed up. They
Yeah.
just showed up. They like showed up and loved on me. And then it's like, okay, I think I might be able to do this. I think I might be able to be a better friend, a better sister, incrementally, not instantaneously, of course.
She said, I got boundaries. I'm open, but I got boundaries. Let's be clear.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean,
But
it's a journey. It's a journey.
no, it is. But just listening to you, I'm not surprised at you, saying, being vulnerable, that was a challenge, but it was worth it. But all at the same time, I'm like, Essence, even back then, like who you are now, like straight up, I hope I don't get emotional. I feel like I am. Whatever, let me keep it together. But
Get together, girl.
you have always been this light, regardless of the tough exterior. Like your heart is so solid. Your heart has always been so pure. So, I mean, I read your comments, your stories and how people showing up and even what you're saying now. It's just like, you were surprised. Like, girl, you've been dope. You've been this. You've been that. Like, and that's from my experience. I've seen this person. And it's like all the love that you're getting, it's like, and you deserve it, period, because you are a dope soul walking in this earth. So
Thank you.
I'm just, like I said, on the back end, I see the glow. I see the growth. I see you evolving, like your heights. I'm like, I just enjoy watching you. I really enjoy watching you and your journey because I've seen where you have come from and how you're constantly just being at each step of your journey. This is who she is. She's just constantly evolving and being. I said this, we're always going to become until we leave this earth. Who you are now, you're becoming. The next stage you're becoming, like it's just all of the process. And like I said, I just love it. I absolutely love watching you and seeing you just shine bright in this world with purpose, with vigor, with with fierce energy, okay? But yet being gentle to yourself and loving on yourself and knowing that you are so deserving of all that you have acquired. And it's not the material things, but it's that inner. So anyway, that's my little rant. I didn't expect to say that.
Oh my God, I received that. I received that. It's not easy to take in compliments, but I received that so much. Thank you so much.
You're
Thank you.
welcome.
I know it's really interesting, and I like love conversations too, especially with dope Black women like yourself. It's just like, you just can't see yourself from the outside. I mean, I'm an overthinker. I'm thinking about all the things, and
You are.
it's hard to be like, to think like, oh, nah, it's not so much that I need to change or do in order to be worthy of the love, like it's
Yeah.
like it's so much internal dialogue and emotions connected to like all the phases of me that I've been. And so it's not always easy to see, it's not always easy to see what you would see or what anyone else sees, because I'm living this whole other thing every day.
In your head, right. Your experience is, yeah.
But I think I appreciate a spiritual where it's not, I'm not religious in like the Christianity context, but I've been on a spiritual journey, and I'm going to be on a spiritual journey forever, of like trying to not be so much here and just feel connected, and that's what nature has done for me. Is like, I can believe that because look at all that nature is effortlessly. Every time I step out there, I'll be like, look at this. Like, it's just moving, and it's not, and it's winter and everything is dead, but it's still beautiful,
Yes.
So it's a process, and I appreciate that. And I also want to say the same to you. I see you a dose of dawn. I also remember when you were really helping people transform that outer self, like helping them find their style, and that has a lot to do with the confidence building in our community. So I've seen you doing this work, and I think a dose of dawn, I know it's not easy to start an online platform in the middle of like constant noise, right? Like everybody has a thing. But I think that if you just stick to it, right? It just, from a communication standpoint, it takes just time. That's all it is. It's time. It's, of course, hashtags and all those things to make sure connect you, but it's going to take some time. But I see this being like an extension of what you've already been working on. And you also have a light. You know, I couldn't wait to hear your little Southern voice. I could not wait to hear your little Southern voice. I was like, this is going to light my evening all the way up. You know, I don't know nobody who sound like you, Dawn. Nobody
You
who's like,
always saying that.
I'm like, girl, every time I hear your voice. So I just think this is dope platform, and even though starting anything is hard, like it's
Hmm.
really, and it could seem like, okay, this is not, but every single successful entity, online entity, media entity has a beginning that takes a while. You know, it
Right.
takes a while, but just sticking to it, keep doing these podcasts, keep bringing it together, dope Black individuals to share their light and their joy, and I
Thank
know it's gonna manifest. I know it. You know.
you. Thank you. I appreciate that. Like I needed that. And see, it's funny because I was telling a friend today, because you mentioned like, oh, so you got your podcast. I said, yeah. And it's crazy because I'm not doing it for like money or likes. It's like personal for me. I've been doing this, but I want to share it with people. But the challenge, it's not even a but. I know that the consistency is very important, and that's my challenge because I'll start. Oh, I've done pop-up shops. I've done wardrobe styling. I've done speaking. So it's like I've done all these things, but I've lacked the consistency. So
Mhm.
I'm now incorporating all because I'm gonna be fly when I get out here.
You
So
know,
that's
you
the style.
better, you
You
better.
feel me? She's gonna be confident when she gets on here, on and off camera. So it's like, okay, you have to see this through week by week.
Yeah,
You gotta keep going. Like that's your challenge, is consistency. So
yeah,
push through, Dawn.
yeah.
Straight up, push through.
Push through on your podcast tip, push through. And if you miss a week and if you miss it too, the consistency isn't always about the exact time frames. It's like even if you do miss a whole month, come back month two. You know what I'm saying? Like just keep on keeping on because all of this online stuff is just breaking into the noise that's already there and also providing something that's really supportive to people's hearts. You know what I'm saying? Something that's
Absolutely.
like how can you're contributing something deeper, and what keeps it going is like your decision to like give something, to provide something, to support our community. And so I think that's really the fuel of it. Is like what else, and as you're doing that, it also is like reciprocal, right? Like you know,
Right.
sit there, have these therapeutic conversations with people you love and care about, uplift them, they uplift you, and that's it, you know,
Yeah.
like
Yeah. And to share with
maybe
others. Like, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was just saying maybe at the end the coins will come. You don't
Right,
know. You
right,
never
right.
know.
And with consistency,
Yeah.
So I was gonna say something when you actually what is it? Consistency. Girl, I done lost my train of thought. Thought it was right there. And I said I was gonna keep me a pen and paper right here because of the last podcast. But I'm gonna do better. I'm gonna do better.
You know I
But
love a good pen and paper.
huh?
You said no. You know I love a good pen and paper.
Yes, you
I,
do.
I look it right here. Look.
See, see,
That's, you need one of these.
right. My
I'm
girl
a good
stay
pen and
writing. Stay, and I remember you always journal. Didn't you journal?
I do. I've captured my whole life in some journals. It's all there.
Yeah, yeah. Like I remember a lot about you, Essence. A lot.
Oh, it's been so long. So
Yeah, but
long.
but you made such an impression on me. Like how going back, not really changing subjects, but kind of switching gears a little bit. How when you were focused on your career and you stand up and writing, um, in your profession. I'm like, she was doing that in college. She was legit doing this. You would be up 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. You got a paper the next day, but you have really you've been the same.
The
That's what I'm
same.
like, girl. I see your growth.
Girl, I went back to Cookman. I think it was not exactly the 10th year. I went before because Keita, Chrissy, and all of them, they was before me. So I went back with them. And I stood in that journalism lab, and girl, like you just don't remember the things until you're in the place, that feeling of like being in a place and the smells and the feelings. Like I like teared all the way up. Like,
Wow, and you're not an emotional person. Hmm.
girl, those emotions came back because I remembered all of it in that moment of like all of those nights I was up, and also how like it is exactly what life is now. Like it's exactly the same damn near. Like I'm still up, still trying to make it make sense, but like yeah, college was special. You think about it when they used to say that, like, oh, y'all gonna remember college. You gonna man, that was special. That was a special time and such a liberating and free time, girl. You remember we ain't have no bills? You remember not having no bills, Dawn? What?
That was true freedom.
That was true freedom. That was the essence of fucking freedom. Sorry for cursing. Girl, like I just, I really hope more young Black kids have the chance to go to school and go to a HBCU
Yeah.
and live life for just a little while. Cause man, ain't never gonna be like that again.
Ever again. Ever again. You definitely nailed it. Again, going back to taking in those moments and being present.
Yeah.
No matter what age you're at, but especially as a young person, I would encourage every young person live in those moments and appreciate them because time goes by like this.
Yeah.
We
Adults
were
too.
just
Adults
18,
too.
huh?
Mhm. Adults too. We gotta like live in that
Well, no,
like
you're definitely right, for sure. But when you say college, that's, I'm thinking of young people, like, for sure. Everybody live in the moment. Seriously, because the old saying, one day you're here, tomorrow you're gone. No, it's to the point, 1 second somebody here, and the next you gone.
girl, this whole pandemic.
And truth be told, it's been like that, but it's on a whole nother level. But it's like our perspectives. We have to have a clear perspective on life and understanding. You must live in the present moment. Enjoy the people that you're around. Enjoy everything about just waking up. Ooh, I put on my own shoes today. I washed my own behind myself. The appreciation of that. I'm able to walk. I'm able to drive. I'm like, we get again caught up in things that it's not even worth our energy, but to appreciate the smallest things in life, baby, you living.
Yeah, yeah, because it's so, I mean, it has been, but it's people that I remember hugging, seeing all the time, like seeing all the time in our community in Chicago, like all the time, like hugging them, like there being a space that you're gonna hug this person and see how they doing. It's so many people that I can directly identify that's just not there. Like, and I've been having so many moments because I have a really hard time dealing with that. Like I've been trying to figure out like what elder is gonna make this make sense. Like, are y'all telling me every year of my life I'm gonna lose people and it's supposed to just be okay? And some years it's multiple people. Like, how does that work? Like, how is that something that I need to like be able to accept? And what does it mean that ultimately it seems like, especially these past couple years, it's like people are being erased. So like it's just like living a life and then these people around you are being erased one by one. And psychologically, it's like, wow, like it's on one side, I'm like, do I really want to like I kept saying like I'm not trying to experience this. Like I'm not okay with this. Life does not have my consent to erase people that I love and care about and that are part of my life and my family and my community. Like, how am I supposed to navigate that?
That's
And
good.
the only other thing was like, if they were able to see me live, like, how am I living in a way that's doing myself justice? Like, they not here. And so it's going back to what we were talking about in the beginning of the conversation is like, then what am I doing that like feels good to me? That feels like life to me. Like, what's the goal now? The goal isn't all the other things. It's like, am I happy? Like, not fleeting happy. Am I content? Like, do I feel good? Like, how am I finding joy? Because I could literally not be here, but also there's so many people who are not here anymore. And I still don't understand it in a way that's like, I don't think that in our society we just do enough around like, what does it mean to just lose all these people and we just supposed to keep going? Like we just supposed
Yeah.
to just keep going to work, keep going out, keep partying, have fun, dance, live life, like it without these people who loved you so much or who you love so much. Like there's something missing about how we address grief and loss. Like it just feels like it's like we are ignoring it. And I'm having such a hard time,
Feeling
lately
those
around
emotions. Yeah.
dealing with the emotions and also understand, like, literally everyone's going to be erased. How am I mentally going to process that and be strong through that? Like,
Do
do we
you,
talk about that?
yeah, but do you think about the beautiful moments that you have or had with the people that are no longer here to help you, like, I enjoyed this or I appreciate those conversations, like it stays with you, that encourages you, like they were here for a purpose and we connected and I'm glad about it. I don't know, but do you reflect on just the memories to kind of help you with those emotions of happiness? Like,
I think that's yes and no, because the people that have been deeply impacted, like when my aunt Bessie passed from COVID, my aunt Bessie was like 90 something. Like in that instance, she lived a full life. There are other people who were mad young, like my age. And so it's one thing to be like, yes, we had great time, but like, why are they gone? Like the pandemic, it's like some people dying to COVID, and then also like random heart attacks, like Matt is a young DJ in our community. He's also like a mathematician and a teacher and educator, and he had like I think he had like a random heart attack. Like I know some fucked up people who are still alive, Dawn. And so I'm trying to reconcile, like,
how y'all still hearing these good folks dead? Why are
at
y'all
an
here?
age where they didn't even get to fully live all the way, like they had so
Yeah,
much more life to live, like it's not making sense to me. This isn't
yeah,
making sense, And maybe if I was Christian or something, I think, oh, God, just there was a better way and God made it like something that makes this make sense because it's hurtful. And also, we live in a society that is not creating space for grief. So this person died, and this person died, and this person died, and this person died, and then a whole almost 500,000 people, I'm damn near a million people died in the United States in the past couple years, and there is no structure. There's nothing to signify that all of these losses have happened. And so something is wrong with that. I'm not this thought. I probably need to like write something because it's not, there's no conclusion here. And I don't have any like real super positive thing to say, but to say that I see something is wrong. And I see that if we as a society think that people are just supposed to die and live and all these people die, especially people who are close to you, and you're supposed to just be like, oh, okay, let me just think about how to let me just keep going without it being an impact on you, then
right.
something is wrong. Something is wrong.
Have you, as you're speaking, I'm like, maybe, because I know community advocacy, creating a space for like, she said, But
I
like,
mean, heavy, like I'm a creative, like I have turned to this to the healers in my community. There's a woman, I've been a part of her ritual space, Sojourner. There's a lot of women who are like in this divine order of life, and they literally are on a path that is connected directly to spirituality, and so I go to them. So the way to address it in a solution oriented, that has been my way of like leaning towards healers in the community who are trained to hold that space. Cause girl, I'm gonna be on the floor, y'all. I'm like holding the space. I'm just on like, I don't know whether I could be put together in that way.
but no, like, even to the point, like, you could, not that you would have to host it, like being the lead of it, but cultivating that type of environment. And maybe the lady that you go to with her spiritual, place that you go to, maybe she could lead it, So
Yeah.
something, because I can tell just listening to you, you passionate about that. Like I know I'm not the only one. So like, let me create something for other people to come to this space and we figure out how to grieve together. Like, shoot, kind of like group therapy or something. Group grieving therapy. I don't know. Just a
Yeah.
thought. Now my mind is going. Just a thought.
No, I think that's an excellent suggestion, an excellent idea. Because, I know that it's not just me, and I'm in a city where it's a lot of loss, and so there's no large scale grief, and I don't know what that would look like or how that would function, but I can imagine, and especially because it's something that has not left me. The things that don't leave you are the things that you have to figure out, like, where does this go?
Yep.
Um, and in a constructive way, because it could be also just it could lead me to depression, right?
Right.
But I think that we lose, it's so much loss, and I can identify specifically in this city, without tainting the reputation of Chicago, without saying it's all that we experience is only grief and loss, but it's a lot of loss here. And in this nation, to have lost almost a 500,000 people in just a couple years, fresh, not including all the other causes of death, but just because of a pandemic, and us not nationally, even culturally, Black people, African American, African, across the diaspora, to say, like, we have to create a space to acknowledge that. Otherwise, we're just as inhumane as these white supremacist colonizers in the world, right? We're inhumane, and we're just saying, go back to work. It don't matter if you sick. Go back to work. Go back to
Yeah.
play, the shopping. That feels like the wrong kind of response to all of this loss.
Yeah. Bringing humanity back, bringing feelings back. Let's talk about it. Let's really work through things and not sweeping things under the rug. Addressing.
Absolutely, because
How
what I recognize is that if we are not addressing that, and we're not addressing the pain and the loss, what are people doing with that? People are like, young people, they like, I'm about to rob you, I'm about to hurt you, I'm about to fight, I'm about to kill, right?
right.
Like, if we don't think about what is happening to the grief and what is happening about the loss that we're experiencing, then it manifests as violence, it manifests as rage, it manifests as rape, right? Like, it's really, I think that it's bigger than the grief. It's bigger than me saying, like, we've lost hundreds of thousands of people in a small amount of time in our lives, in our communities, in our families. But what does that turn into?
Right.
So,
internal turmoil
that then goes into, and who does that get enacted upon? Your family and your community, because they're the ones directly around you.
Yeah. Yeah. That's good. You know what? This has me thinking. Because I never thought about it in that way, in that perspective. Like, there is so much death going on, but how do we cope with it? Do we really cope? How do we grieve? What are the ways that we grieve? Where do you even start at to really process life and knowing that, okay, we all know we gonna die, but when you keep living and people that, like you said, are very close to you, like, how do you continue to live with that without these people that you love in a way where you can still thrive and not be so hurt? Like, why are they not here? They, like you said, the person that was around your age, like, huh?
Yeah.
How do we process that? I don't know. I guess for me, because I haven't lost people like that so close, I do understand, okay, we live to die. I get that. But I also understand I enjoy them while they're here. So I don't know. I don't know. We gotta die, but not to sound insensitive either.
Right. We do have to die, essentially. However, do we need to die by the fact that no one's doing health and safety precautions around COVID? Do we have to die because young Black folks are hungry and impoverished and deciding to pull triggers? Like, yes, we gotta die, but, like, do we have
Why
to
we
die
gotta die like this?
that are connected to oppression and connect it to health and wealth disparities in the nation. Like we do gotta die. But when and we also know that there's a racial imbalance between who's dying and when, right? And it is not white people. White people are not dying in their 20s at mass rates around the nation. They're just not.
Right.
Even COVID, the numbers of people who died from COVID largely affected Black and brown communities before it affected white communities. And so we do need to die. Ultimately, all people die. However, when it comes to our people dying at a faster rate, unnecessarily due to governmental structural neglect and violence.
That's very intentional. Like girl, don't get me talking about population control, because that's a part of what this pandemic is, if you ask me.
Yeah, for them to be like, oh, let's just take the mask off now. All right, y'all, it was just a variant going around making everybody sick. Take that mask off now. You good. You good. Take it off. Go ahead. Just take it off. Just forget about it.
Just keep on living. Y'all keep on living and you keep on dying. Because it's no care. There was something that I saw, like the founding of, America's, it was on some plaque, how the guy said it should be like a limit. It should be like a certain amount of people to live. Oh, girl, it was some bull crap. Like, it was crazy. I was like, wow, like this is in a plaque. You know how you go to certain towns or whatever.
And you in the South too, girl. Ain't no limitations out there.
Like, what? So that's what I'm like, it's a lot of population control. And truth be told, what is happening now, this was already planned. You hear government officials or people that know about it, y'all were already in bed with this stuff. Yeah. Y'all could care less. It's all about money and greed. Mm-hmm. What joy do you have from knowing that a pandemic is going to kill millions of people?
I don't know.
You're sick. It's a lot of sick people that are in office that have intentionally, of course, systematically oppressed us throughout all these years and continue to do it via a pandemic or the violence or the disparity of education, not even just education, but economics, like all that. Yeah. So we have a lot of work to do. We've come far, but we have a lot more work that has to be done for our people.
Yeah, we do. It's a whole lot of work, and it's difficult. It's really, really difficult to kind of like see it and then figure out what part am I going to even address and take on, like. And I think, it's also like, it's a lot, the people empowered, people who have the most resources to be able to create the change, they actually don't care. And like, and it's not even like, I recognize with the pandemic too, like even bigger than race, like they didn't care who died, everybody, white, black, whatever, they don't care. It's a whole new war that was just started this week. It's like, war, y'all, the pandemic is still happening across the world. And at this time, there's still a war. It's still a war. Y'all still decided to bomb. Why would you bomb? People gonna die anyway. Why would you then enact mass attacks of violence? Like, wow. Like, it's actually a global disregard for human life. Like, yeah. Oh, snap.
Yeah. We gotta bring humanity back. Like, where's the humanity in us living? We're humans. We have feelings. Why do you not care? Do you think that your feelings are above everyone else? Like, no. You bleed, you hurt just like the next person. Your hurt is no different than the next person's hurt.
Yeah.
But
wow, it's a lot to take in on the timeline.
Yeah,
right?
it is.
I'll be like, woo, let me put this down for a second, because the war post from today, I was like, oh, I don't think I'm going to participate in this engagement in this way. I don't think I really wanted to let that seep in too much because it's not healthy. And I can't take on every global crisis. I just can't. I'm like super
Right.
absorbed in the political ramifications of these people in power, but I'm like, I gotta just put this phone down. I gotta shut this timeline off, and I have to figure out ways to spend my time that are healthy and like sustainable, and joyful, like this conversation.
Right.
Like I had to do something like this versus pay attention to all of the craziness. I mean, I think that's like a thing a survival tactic of the day. Like today I decided to survive by choosing to talk to Dawn.
Yeah.
Choosing to like have a sister to sister conversation about all the things, because woo, baby, that
Absolutely.
timeline.
Absolutely. Well, we're gonna wrap this up, but I wanna piggyback on what you just said. Connecting with people that are on the same vibration as you, especially in this time, is essential. Like I met a lady maybe a year ago from, again, I don't meet no stranger. I talk to a dog, like, just open to talking to people. But there was a black farmers market near where I lived at. So the guy, I purchased some stuff from him supporting black owned business. And so when I was doing my pop-up shop, he actually signed up to be one of the vendors. His wife came to actually set up and do the business. We stayed connected, and they actually just reached out to me this week and was just, hey, we're in some crazy times. Just know you're welcome here if you need anything. You have a place here. And I was like, wow, I really appreciate that, because people don't even think about that. Because again, people are in their own little worlds, but at this time we must come together. You have to, if you don't already, you got to create that ecosystem for yourself, because say you hit really hard times, I need some food. I have to be vulnerable and I need some food. Can you help me? But I've created this space where I'm able to stay connected with people in these challenging times. So anyway, I'm just happy that throughout all the years we have stayed connected, whether it was, through social media, or I remember I was like, every year I'll probably text you happy birthday, but um just staying connected with positive people is
Absolutely.
essential.
Absolutely. I
And
agree
therapeutic as
100%.
well.
What'd you say?
I say and therapeutic as well.
It is.
It's
It is.
healing. No, I was gonna say it's healing in conversation.
Yeah. I mean, that's all therapy is anyway. It's literally a conversation. When you said literally, my therapist just be asking me questions. But I agree. I think that I'm finally in a place where I can say, like, and acknowledge, that we do need each other and that we do need community and that it's hard to sustain these relationships. It's hard to be available in a world that's constantly being for your attention. It's
Yeah.
constantly difficult. You could literally live in 24/7 in a virtual universe. Like we literally sat here, looked at this phone this whole time.
Yeah.
But even no matter what the platform is, staying connected with people who give you life, right? Who help you think differently. I'm really prioritizing that, and I'm also trying to think about what new ways that I can find folks who are just thinking differently about stuff, and what new ways can I find people who are like doing things like horticulture, right? Like just such random science and like who's
Yeah.
looking at the stars. Like I think that to me is so helpful, and it's a breath of fresh air, because just as much as negativity is out there, there's people who are doing dope, interesting things. There's people who want to connect. There's people who want to create. And if we can tap into those kind of spaces and those types of people, then that to me is like that's self-care too, right? Connecting with
Absolutely.
is self-care too. And as things ease up and they say, take off your mask, please keep your mask on. But then we could go outside and also find ways that there's all types of people in communities and clubs and groups that, could uplift us and keep us connected in ways that are different and help us grow. I think the growth part is
Yes.
so essential. It's so important. So I agree with you. Let's stay connected. Let's stay connected. And here's to our friendship to another 15 years. Another 15 years, we're gonna have great. We're gonna be bursting out with the
Yes,
great.
honey.
I'll definitely be coming to Atlanta. I told Chrissy, Chrissy live in Atlanta. Chrissy now, well, Chrissy from college. It's quite a few people from my original college gang. Y'all are out there in Atlanta, and I
Oh,
definitely intend to visit. I definitely want to come out there this summer.
for sure.
My goal this year is to, like, instead of taking like large trips, like I just need to take some like weekends.
Getaways. That's true.
Getaways to be able to consistently just step away from the work, because I don't. This not important no more. Y'all are important, so I am definitely going to be in Atlanta this summer for
Hey,
sure. Spring,
I'm
summer.
ready.
You
I'm
ready?
ready. I look forward
Oh,
to it.
also, you got some space in that house for me?
Of course, darling. Yeah, your guest room is ready.
Oh, okay, guest room. Look at
Yes,
you, grown
with your
woman.
bathroom. Yes, that's this. You got your space for real. Because I was gonna say, I'm like, I hope you stay with me at least one night. But
Girl,
yeah, I'm ready.
I'll stay with you the whole time. You actually are, well, me and you are similar in the sense that we don't have any children, and so that that kind of single woman lifestyle
Oh,
is different.
oh.
You know, we live in our life in a little more liberation. I mean, just a little bit. So
No,
not to say it's a good or bad thing, because it has
right.
its pros and cons, but
It's just that
yeah,
this is our journey.
this is our journey, and we could be proud of it and be excited about it. I'm
Very
so
much
happy.
so.
Congratulations. I know you've been a homeowner for a minute, but
Thank
congratulations
you.
on owning your own
Thank
home.
you. Thank you. I appreciate you. Got me blushing. Thank you. I appreciate it. Like, but it's funny because I said I was gonna get out, but I just be talking, but whatever. My mom came over here a couple of days ago, and mothers, she went upstairs. She walked around because I was in my
Looking
office. I said,
around.
you done being nosy? She said, yeah. And so when she came back downstairs, she was like, you really have a nice place. I was like, thank you, mom. Like, it means a lot coming from people that you love and has known you for a very, very long time or all your life. So I really appreciate that. Like, for real.
It do. It means a lot. It means a lot. Your mama know. Your mama know where you started that girl, right in her stomach.
Right.
She was up there like, and mama's, she looking around like, what you got in here? Over there, she opened the room like, what you? Okay,
Right. What you
and
got
then she
to
came back
do?
down like, I see you, sis. I see you.
Right. Thank you. Thank you. Well, it was a pleasure and an honor to take up your time and your space and your life at this moment. I greatly, greatly appreciate it. I appreciate the light that you shared with me and just being open to being vulnerable. I think that stood out because a lot of times people like, no, I can't say this, I can't say that. But you being vulnerable is strength and vulnerability. So that's what I received from this conversation. So I'm sure the viewers were able to receive that too. And also being, just be.
Just
You're
being.
already everything that you are. So just naturally be who you are and own that. Good, bad, indifferent. Once you know, you grow.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
thank you
Absolutely.
for
Happy.
sharing your life.
And is the podcast going to be like, because I don't know how lives work. I haven't done any research into the lives, so that does it go on to
My
post somewhere?
page.
Okay, so it stays like it's there permanently.
Yeah. Okay, so I told you I'm working on my consistency. So
Mhm.
what I am doing is I'll post it on the IG, it automatically connect. So then I will edit and have clips of our conversation. And then I'll also, because I'm transferring my lives to YouTube. So
Oh,
I can build,
okay.
yeah, yeah. So that's kind of what I've been doing.
Okay.
So it'll probably be maybe a week, and then
Oh,
you'll start seeing clips. So I'm learning to repurpose, my content. So I've been
yeah.
doing my research, girl, with,
Okay.
just social media and everything. So yeah, it'll stay on my page, and then I'll take it off and put it on YouTube.
Okay. Cool. Cool. And you probably can pull the audio too and just put it as a audio format too, right?
I tried,
Okay.
but I don't have. I think if I had maybe a different software like a Mac, I will be able to, but I ain't there yet. So I'm gonna just, do what I can now. And like you said, being consistent and it'll grow, in time.
Yes. Well, thank you so much for having me, Dawn, and please invite me back. Invite me back like next year. We can just, tap back in again. I would love that because this has been such a pleasure, and I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
There'll always be more to share. So I'm inviting myself just like I'm inviting myself to your house to the podcast again next year or in a couple months.
Right, you're all, and I'm always open. So again, thank you, and I'll be in touch, and I'll continue to look at your stories and see you thrive, and you sharing with us again your life. So thank you, and I love you, girl.
Love you too. Sending you a lot of love, and I will talk to you very soon.
All right, y'all take it easy, and again, I hope you all really appreciated the content that was brought to you today on a diet, and of course, above it all, always sprinkle your sunshine in the world and shine bright. Peace. I'm out.
Peace.
All right, peace. Let's see.